Peace, Diehards. Welcome to another episode of the Knicks podcast. As you see at the bottom of the screen, we got Diehard has a friend. So I have a special guest here today. She is the queen, but not the queen that passed away today. All respect to the dead and this, that, and the other. But the only queen that I recognize is the guest that I have on today, man. So without further ado, Knicks podcast. Let's hear the intro first. Bam, what's up, Steph? How's it going?
I'm doing well. Thanks for the invite. I love the intro. You did that yourself?
Yes, I did.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, man, it's amazing what you can do when you have time, a little bit of time on your hands.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, man. So I mean, the queen passed away today. I made a little joke in the beginning there, but I mean that's a big thing worldwide, right?
Yeah, it's a big thing worldwide. I was actually at a doctor's appointment and scrolling on Twitter for something else. When I saw it. So, rest in peace and condolences to her family and her country and those who held her, dear to their hearts.
Yeah, definitely. It's like the world is changing, man. She's lived a long life, almost 100 years. And then it comes to now, like I just feel like so much things has changed. Even like with this podcast thing, like we just have like the power to create things and put things out for everyone to see. So things have been changing. So she's like representing like the old world, kind of thing. So she her passing away is almost like a gate is opening, or something like it's a new age kind of like going on. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that probably was the case anyway, but symbolically,
Mhm.
when someone who's lived that long, pass away, yeah, absolutely. It
Yeah,
does create space for something new.
yeah. Speaking of space, man, did you get your winter coat out, man? It's freezing out there today. What do you
Yeah,
think?
yeah. It's a little cold today, but I'm welcoming that. I'm welcoming that because it was a hot summer.
Was it hot really, or was it cold with all that Donovan Mitchell nonsense?
Yeah, well,
Well, give me your thoughts on Donovan Mitchell, man, because it was a long, drawn out summer, man. So, what is your like once the trade happened and he went to where he had to go? What was your initial feelings with that?
I mean, I was disappointed. And I've said this, you know, on multiple shows. I feel like the Knicks need to get a franchise player. You're going to get one in the draft, you're going to develop one on your team, or you're going to trade for one. We haven't been great in the draft. I don't think we have a franchise player on this team. It remains to be seen. Maybe RJ becomes that. You have an opportunity to get, maybe he's not a superstar, but he's not even in his prime. So you have an opportunity to get someone 25 years old, not yet in his prime, already made 3 All-Star teams, may not have been great in the playoffs this year, but has been great in the playoffs in the past. Like that opportunity doesn't come along that often. And you have the assets and the opportunity to do it. And I was listening to CCP today, CT, excuse me, with Mark Berman, and I agree with Mark Berman. I think the Knicks overplayed their hand. Um, and now we're stuck with assets with a well-balanced team. Don't get me wrong. The team that we have is one of the most balanced teams that we have with a phenomenal bench. And I'm okay now, but my preference was to sign Donovan Mitchell and then do what you have to do afterwards to create a roster around him that fits because that roster would not have fit.
That's my thing with it. Because
It
I
would
mean,
not have fit.
even after we make the trade, that would have just been like the beginning of the blueprint. It would have ripped it in
And
half. It would have been Donovan Mitchell, and then okay, now how do we fill this in now?
correct. But that's going to be the case no matter which star we trade for. You're going to have to give up a haul no matter who it is. And then you got to look at what's left and build around no matter who it is.
Right. So looking at this roster now, like just looking going into training camp, like to me, I feel like we can go like 12 deep. Like 10 real, realistically 10 guys. We can go deep.
I
There's
agree
going
with
to be
that.
sacrifice and stuff, but there's like maybe two extra players that we have that can be in their rotation along with the other 10. So what do
Correct.
you think about that
I
going
agree
forward?
with you. Because in the second team, you can create a second team where Rose and Sims is not even there. Like ESPN on the depth chart has the second team as IQ, Grimes, Cam, Obi, and Hartenstein, right? As the second team. D Rose and Sims is not even there, right? So, and that's 10 right there. So this is a very, it's a very deep team. The only issue is there are 3 positions where there's not going to be a lot of minutes left over. I see Hartenstein and Mitch, maybe 28-20 split. Maybe Grimes, if Fournier is still here, a 28-20 split, or maybe even a 24-24 split. I
Right.
don't think there's going to be much minutes behind Brunson, Randall, if he's still here, and RJ. I don't think there's going to be. And when you say you want Obi to play more minutes, he's earned it. You're going to play him at the 3. That's less minutes for Cam. You're going to play um, 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 Randall at the 5 to open up minutes for. Then that's less minutes for Hartenstein. So it's good, but you're kind of locked in. It's not going to be a lot of movement up and down the lineup. You're a backup 2. That's all you're going to be. Because
Yeah.
there's no room, because there's somebody else backing up the other spots.
Yeah. So, well, I wanted to get that to the end, but Christmas is coming. To me, I think Christmas that's going to be like the roadblock there. If we don't have it together by Christmas, I think heads will start to roll. Tom Thibodeau is the main one for me.
Mhm.
Of course, trades and stuff like that, but I think they're really going to hold on until the trade deadline because, like we both are saying, we just have a little bit of excess, man. So if we could put some guys together, we possibly can get that trade that we need.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think Tibbs is going to roll. But listen, this is something interesting that came up as well.
Mhm.
How many more years does the front office have? So, for example, you're going to fire Tibbs. You only got about a year and a half, if we're talking about Christmas, left on your contract anyway. So
Right.
Dolan is going to have to sign off on that. So Dolan might be saying, I'm not going to pay for you to bring in a new coach. You only got a year and a half left yourself, and I'm not even sure you're going to be here after that. And then that
Right.
next front office may not even want this new coach, So I think if they fire Tibbs, that's an indication that this front office is going to be here past their contract. Because if I'm an owner, I'm not allowing you to fire a coach with 1.5 years left, and I'm not even sure I'm bringing you back.
Right. That's facts right there. Shout out to State here. State be commenting like me and him don't do podcasts all the time and stuff, man. So I mean, me and State have talked about we don't talk about that stuff till we're gonna throw up already, man.
Mhm.
But it's still all fun to talk about it. Like I totally agree with you with that too. Because I mean, like, why would you fire Tom Thibodeau and then I don't even know if I'm gonna keep you. And if you were gonna fire Tom Thibodeau, you should have did it earlier. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you're gonna make trades, you should have did the Donovan trade. It just like, kind of just steamrolls the whole thing, man. So,
And this is the thing with this front office. Choose a direction.
yeah,
Just choose the direction. If you want to go with the young guys, go with the young guys. Draft that 11th pick. You know what I mean? Don't sign Donovan. Put IQ there. That same trade you made for Doran, make that same trade for us. Bring him in. Maybe don't sign Mitch. If you're gonna go young, go young. If you saying you're collecting assets to trade for a star, this was your opportunity. You understand what I'm saying?
yeah,
Pick your direction and make sure your moves are consistent with it. That's all I'm asking.
yeah. Muscle move, right? Like my
What's a
man,
move?
yeah, do something, man. Let me see something. What you gonna do? Yeah, man. So this is an interview. We're talking about the Knicks and stuff. So I
Mhm.
did that purposely just to get the Knicks stuff going here because you're excellent, man. So like I remember when I first I met you 3 times. I'll get into that. So like the first time I met you, I popped up on the panel because this is the heaven right here for us here, the NBK
Yes,
fam and
yes,
stuff.
yes.
Shout out to
Um,
Sim. Yeah. So how did you come in contact with Sim and how did you get on the panel first of all?
Actually, I was listening to Giant podcast, right? I had a lot of Giant podcasts that I would listen to, and I said there has to be some Nick podcasts. So I started checking out some Nick podcasts. This was during the Frank Ntilikina era, And I was just having a hard time because every podcast about the Knicks that I popped on, they was talking about how great Ntilikina was. And I'm like, I don't get this. So I
That's
was
Candyman for me and Jarrell. That's Candyman right there.
right. So I was on YouTube for something else. And I came across Nick Fan TV and I said, okay, this is all right. Then I came across NBK. Mark was on that show. A
Oh man.
few other guys was on that show. And Frank Ntilikina came up. I said, oh, here we go. But they actually gave balanced takes on Frank Ntilikina. And I said, you know what? I can rock with them. And they were funny because, Mark was always funny. So I felt like I was getting entertained and I was getting good Nick content at the same time. So I started watching all of the shows. And this happened fairly quickly. Maybe a few weeks in, I got up the nerve. It took me like a week to get up the nerve to DM Sim and ask, can I be I was already a member. Can I be a panelist? And he said, sure. And then I came on, maybe a month being on the show. He asked me if I wanted to, do a show, female, with all female panel. I said, yeah. And the rest is history, really.
Yeah, man. So you don't waste no time. You don't waste no time. You got in there like maybe a week and already on the panel. Next thing you know, you got a show. Like, what is going on here?
It did happen. It did happen pretty fast. But
Yeah.
and you know what? I was really nervous. And I think this is for anybody with a new opportunity. Like, should I DM him? Should I not? Do I really want to be on the panel? Like, I really want to be on the panel, but I don't know if I could be on the. And you think about, had I not did that, that whole lane would not have opened up.
Right. And you love it. You love this podcast and stuff,
Oh,
don't you?
man.
It's an addiction, man. To get just to get your thoughts out, like just the journey. Like you say, you're looking for Knicks content. First you're looking at Giant stuff. You say
Right,
there's got to be Knicks stuff out there. So you
right,
went searching for it until you
right,
found Sim. For me, like I told a story. I told a story on your show actually. That's like
right,
one of the best episodes people keep talking about when you had like a whole ensemble of different podcasts and stuff. And we got the chance to tell our story and stuff.
right.
But for those that hadn't seen that, I'll tell a little story. I was looking for information for another friend of mine. He wanted to do a variety show. So I said, this guy I watch on YouTube. I showed him and said, oh, he's okay, cool. So I said, let me hit him up. Like, whatever, let me hit him up. So I hit him up, put my phone away, 1, 2, 3. I came back to my phone and he writes a manifesto. Like I said on your show, he wrote a long manifesto, just giving me point by point, all the equipment, how you need to do it, what I should do, and all kind of stuff. Just giving me, clean, what I asked for. And I was not expecting that at all. So, I guess we all have the same experience with Sim. And I just think that he's a great, I don't want to say mentor or like, he's just a good dude, man. Just someone to follow, not
Yeah,
necessarily follow, but just the same energy. He just that,
good energy. Definitely good
yeah,
energy. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, no doubt about it. And I love it. It's become I guess a hobby or a love, whatever, where it doesn't even matter how many subscribers I have. It doesn't even matter. I just want to get on and I just want to talk Knicks. And I think that was part of me, branching out and getting my own channel, just wanting to do more,
right,
and wanting to be more creative, wanting to collaborate, wanting to start and stop. And those are just not things you can do on somebody else's channel. You better come correct. You're not going to be starting, stopping stuff, you know? So
yeah.
I said, let me get my own channel this way. Whatever I don't cover on Nothing But Knicks, I can cover here. I can collaborate. I can create, different things. And I'm just falling in love with it for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I feel the same way. With my channel, I first started with the audio.
Mhm.
So the audio was good. It was something. Audio was something for me to come on my show because it's one thing. Like I always want to do some kind of sports stuff. You're always trying to find your outlet. So
Right,
once I found out that you could do audio podcast that way, just with your phone and stuff like that, that just started the whole thing. Then I
right.
realized I loved it, and I just kept trying to find more information. So that's
Yeah.
how I got up to here. To this
Yeah.
point.
That's what I'm considering too. Shout out to Freezy, who's been, talking to me about audio podcasting. I think I'll do better audio. Because video, you got to worry about your head. Oh, is my head done? Or am I looking at the camera? Or am I with audio, I can have my notes. I can script it out if I want. Nobody knows. So I'm thinking about doing audio as well. I'll see.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. So what came first then? You said Giants. You was looking for Giants podcast. So what's your love as far as football or basketball? Which is first?
Basketball was first.
Okay.
I started watching basketball a few years before. I started watching basketball probably I want to say 82, 83. And I don't even know if it started with the Knicks. It started with that. I just happened to turn on the TV and see people playing basketball. I was like, wow, this is what's up. And I fell in love with Dr. J, you
Okay.
know. Then that was like the year before their championship when they had lost to the Lakers, got swept, and then they came back the next year and won. I was watching, a little bit of Knicks. Um, Truck
We were
Robinson,
we were bad during that time, man. Woo.
yeah, we was
Yeah.
terrible. Truck Robinson, um, Kenny the Animal Bannister. Man. So that was like maybe a year or two before they drafted Patrick Ewing. So that came first.
Right.
Then the Giants, same thing. I just turned it on, and I saw this guy looking like a modern day video game, just running all over the field. Like everybody else was doing a pace, and he was just doing something else. It was Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah.
I was like, who is this guy? And I learned football by just watching it. Like basketball, I played, I understood it. Football, I had to just kind of from watching it kind of teach myself. So the Knicks came first, then the Giants. I love them both. But since I've been a content creator the past year and a half, I haven't even been following the Giants the way I used to. I used to follow training camp. I used to follow the draft. I remember I was in South Africa one time and I had the audio on for the draft, listening to the draft to see who the Giants was going to pick. I had researched all the players and what have you. But since this, like we got a show later that shout out to Jarrell, asked me to come on. I had to do some research today, listening to some Giant Paul because I'm not as plugged in as I used to be.
I don't do research. You know what I'm saying? Like doing this pod here, I just put it together in 2 seconds. Because
Right.
for me, I can't think about it too much. If I think about it too much, then the whole house is gonna go up in flames. Because I just think
Right.
so much that just the fire from my brain, it just will eradicate
But
everything.
for the Giants, though, you got to know who the coach is. You got to know who the offensive. You got to know the players on the team. You got to know what the issue. Like that's how removed I've been.
Right.
But I think I'm up to date. I believe so.
So did you play sports? Did you play sports at all?
I did play sports. I played. It's funny I grew up in Brooklyn, on Ocean Avenue, across from Prospect Park, and we used to play basketball with a garbage can, a metal garbage can, up against the building, and guys and girls, like there was no when I grew up, there was no distinction. Like girls couldn't do this. Maybe I don't know. That was just our block. I don't know. So the guys and girls, we would play basketball shooting into this garbage can, right? And then maybe a few years later, I was going to school and I actually noticed the basketball court.
Right.
It was just an easy transition. I got the basketball. I was able to do a layup. I was able to shoot. It was just an easy transition. I didn't start playing organized basketball till I was in high school. So I went to Clara Barton High School and they had a really good basketball team. And my 9th and 10th year, I was too timid to try out for the team. And like it took a lot of nerve. My junior year is when I went out for the team and I made it, mostly because of my height. I didn't know anything about the post and, all of those things. So I played 2 years. I was recruited to play at CCNY. My first 2 years there, I was trash. I scored 38 points. I'm telling the truth. I scored 38 points in 2 seasons combined.
Right.
And I spent a good part of the time on the bench. And that was a good team too. Those were 2 conference championship teams. My 3rd year there, I took the season off because I didn't want to use any more of my eligibility. I took the season off. I lost some weight because I had picked up some weight. And I met this guy that I recently found out passed away, rest in peace, Larry Fuller out of Coney Island. And he was at Starlight City. And he would be working with me, on my game and what have you, helping me understand really the mental part of the game. And the one thing he said to me, he said, Steph, the girls on the team, they're going to help you a little bit. They're going to help you just as much as you can help them. But they're not going to help you too much because they don't want you to take this spot. Right. So he was working with me. And my last 2 years, I was really good. I think in 750 points over just the next 2 years, 2 championships. I think in the championship game, I had 24 points, 23 rebounds. I don't think I was as good as I could have been because there was still a lot of confidence issues, with me at that time. But I was still pretty good. And then I started coaching. The very next year, I became the assistant coach at CCNY. The year after that, the coach became pregnant and walked away, and then I became the head coach. And I was the head coach there at CCNY for about 9 seasons.
Wow.
And I was young. I was in my early 20s. You know, early 20s till when I left was when I went into to get my PhD. I just couldn't do it because they didn't have the budget. You're familiar with CCNY, so you had a full-time job, and you was coaching, and you was recruiting, and you was doing all of that on your own time with this little stipend, monthly stipend they gave you. You did it because you loved it. But then when I was going to school, um, coaching and working, it became too much, and that was a really tough decision to give it up because I would do that for free. I mean, that's how much
Yes.
I loved it. It's similar to this. I'm like, I'm loving this. It kind of reminds me of that time. Like, yo, whether I'm monetized or not, I'll buy my own equipment.
Yeah.
you
Word
know,
up. Yeah, no,
because
I got the what do you call it? The Cash App there. I don't necessarily care about. I have it there, but it's not like I'm waiting for somebody to drop a
right,
bag on me. I could
right,
do this all day long, all day long. If I
correct,
didn't have a job or anything like that, I would do
correct,
this on the street if I had a plug to plug it in, to get some internet
correct,
stuff.
correct,
You know?
correct.
Yeah, so it's a big thing there. So now you reminded me that about that CCNY thing. So I think there's four different times in life that we might have met each other, man. But I want to bring it back to the panel. I remember seeing you on the panel for the first time because I used to just pop up. I wasn't just like a regular member on the panel. I would just pop up whenever I could or whatever. So I was going through a couple of things where I was coming there more often, and I saw you. And I'm listening to you, and I'm like, wow, I think I might have said it. I said, you're good. You're good. So I mean, do you have what is your PhD in? Like, what did you study in school?
Psychology. So I was already a nurse.
Okay.
And then I got accepted into the PhD program at NYU, and it's so funny. And our PhD program for psychology is like they give you 10 years to finish. I took 13. Like it was
Yes.
just a long. And in between that, I took a year off to become a psychiatric nurse practitioner. And believe it or not, I work mostly as a psychiatric nurse practitioner. And so I have this a PhD and I'm a licensed psychologist, and it informs my practice, but I don't do therapy. Like most of the work I do working with clients is medication management.
Okay. So I was thinking that you were going to say something broadcast wise, but I mean the
Never.
psychology stuff that explains it all right there. Because I mean to be hanging out with Mark and to be hanging out with Sim and all those guys on the panel, Josh especially. Sometimes I pop in because nowadays since we're making content and stuff like that, I don't have enough time to really
Right.
watch pods. I'll pop in just to see what guys are talking about, but I can't really watch the whole thing. But
Mhm.
sometimes I pop in there, I see Josh, yap, 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 and you like. Josh, man, he's just like giving him but just
Lately,
yeah,
in the beginning though, me and Josh used to go at it all the time, or I would go at Josh all the time. I like
right,
since then I've kind of calmed like all the way down. I'll have my moments. But back then I was like, are we serious? Like I was just like, yeah, I was a little off the chain. A little
yeah.
bit.
Well, also too, I see that there's a lot of attraction with you too, with just with the basketball stuff, just the sports thing, what gravitated you to sports,
Yes.
just coming just stumbling upon it kind of, and then you just develop a passion for it. Same thing with playing basketball, your education, even with just coming into the podcast thing, it just like attracted to you. Bam! Now look what's happening now.
Yeah. You're right. There's been a lot of serendipity in my life, I gotta say.
Yeah,
I grew up as a lot of people did, like really poor.
yeah,
And I just look back on my life, like I remember getting accepted. I lived in Ocean Avenue. I was closer to Clara Barton High School, Prospect Heights High School, but I, for whatever reason, got accepted to Grady High School, all the way out in Coney Island, which had just started letting um, females in the school. And the lunch lady was like, "Where you live?" I said I live on like Ocean Avenue, Flatbush area. She said, "You come all the way out here?" She
yeah.
said, "Did you ever think about being a nurse, like going to Clara Barton?" I said, I never really thought. She spoke to the principal. And the next year I was transferred to Clara Barton. you
Wow.
know. And I didn't even want to be a nurse. I was doing medical assisting or whatever. And when I graduated high school, um, it just popped into my head. I'm gonna go to college to be a nurse. So there's been like a lot of serendipity in my life, like a lot of things that I didn't. I'm very intentional now,
Yeah,
but back then it was just things that came into my path, so to speak, and worked out for me.
that's wonderful. Well, do you have any numbers in your head? Any winning numbers? I'm thinking about, you thinking about any numbers? Because I'm quite sure the people that's watching or that will watch, and myself as well. I want to play some numbers, man. You got numbers for me?
Nah, not really. Yeah.
Yeah, well, one of the other times that we met also, first I want to talk about Clara Barton, man. I love Clara Barton because it's the all girls school. Like I went to Nazareth, yeah, I don't know if you know where Nazareth is on Back Kings Highway, Clarendon Road over in that way. So I used to be all up and down Clarendon. There's another school too that I used to go to, whatever, just for the ladies and stuff. So that was my big problem. I can never focus on things because I'm too preoccupied with the females and stuff, man. So
But when by the time I went, they were letting guys in the school. You could have got in. You should have transferred.
nah, when you're in that realm, you have to keep your distance and stuff with certain things, man. 'Cause you get yourself in trouble. But speaking of that, man, it was Tony. Me and Tony talked about it when he came on for the same segment. He was just like, hey, yo, you do anything today? Like, no, I'm not doing nothing. Yo, you want to come by Steph's house? You about to I'm like, go to Steph's house. Like, I'm looking at the time. I'm like, what? I never met her before. Did she say it was okay that I can go over there?
Yeah.
She said, yeah, man, could just come over. I'm like, can I get a number? So can I call her and like or something just so I can. So I'm like, me, like I like the ladies, I'm married and stuff now, but I have a lot of respect for women and stuff. So I'm like, damn, I'm going to this lady's house. I don't know what she likes. I'm looking for flowers. I'm looking for something to give you. So I reach in the closet. I'm like, damn, I had just made that We Here stuff, that We Here hat, because that
Mhm.
was the Julius Randle thing. So that's the only thing I could find. So I brought that with me,
And
and
I
I was
still
just
have
like,
it.
yes, that.
Yeah, I still have it actually.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I thought that was amazing that you did that.
Yeah. You know what? It's about vibes. Sometimes you just get it. Like I got a good vibe from Sim. I got a good vibe from um Tony. I don't even think there's anybody on NBK that I haven't had a good vibe from. The different panelists that's going through that I haven't had a good vibe from. Personalities are different, and that's fine. I'm not thrown off by personalities. It doesn't make me change how I feel about you because of your personality. So when they was like, E-rule, I was like, sure, So yeah, I'm kind of open like that too. Like I wasn't thinking like you gonna let these three guys and you the only because I live by myself, me and my dog. I was like, you gonna let these three guys like I didn't
Yeah.
even think like that. I was just like, those are
I
my
mean,
brothers.
for me too, man. I get the same vibe from Sim. I met Sim and Tony before, so same thing. When I met them, there's like a spark. I keep talking about that on the segment too. There's like
Correct.
a spark that, like with Knicks fans, that you don't really get it unless you really like this stuff. And you're in the mix and stuff. So you can
Correct.
see the spark. You can see the light in people's in their spirit. You can just see
Right.
it. So
Right.
we talked for like I had just met Sim. We had just came in contact with each other. And we just was building for like 15, 20 minutes or whatever, just in that spot. We didn't move. We were just talking to each other.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I just got that vibe. So I was like, I ain't doing nothing. Actually, I was doing something, but I dropped what I was doing. I said, let
Hmm.
me go out there and hang out with these guys, man. But I'm thinking about it too, because I'm like going to your house. I'm like, is this a setup? All those things pop
Right.
into
Right.
your
Right.
head,
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
But it's an amazing phenomenon, that whole thing.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
yeah,
And it was a good evening, even though the food didn't show up. And
right.
I remember feeling bad. I was like, because I said to Tony, I'm gonna order the food now. He's like, no, don't order it and pay for it. Wait till we all get there, and then we'll all. And then I ordered the food. It didn't come. I said, now I'm looking like a bad host. Like I just invited them over to my house and didn't have any food, any food ready.
Yeah. At least you had toilet paper.
Yeah, of course.
I'm just playing around. I'm just playing around. But yeah, man, CCNY. CCNY. I went there. I want to say like in the late '90s or so. Was it 90, 98, 98, 99 around there? So I went there for maybe like 2 years. I flunked out. Why? Because of the women and stuff, man. So during that time, what were you there during that time,
That was
coaching?
probably my last season there was 98, 99.
Okay. So that's what I'm saying. That's another time that I think me and you might have crossed paths.
Yeah.
Because at the time I was trying to try out for the team and stuff, but I was messing up. My academics was bad. Then I just wasn't making certain meetings and this that and the other. But I
That was
was
Gary Smith, right? Gary Smith was the coach
I'm
at
not
that.
even sure. I can't even remember what I did yesterday.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I was trying to get into it, but so I was doing intramurals and things of that nature. So I think with the intramurals, I think that's where I remember seeing you mostly.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I would
doing
definitely. We
intramurals.
couldn't. I don't know if we couldn't play intramurals because we were on the team. I don't think. Yeah. I don't think intramurals allowed you to play because
Right.
it's like unfair if you were on the team. But yeah, we were down there a lot.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time there. Like I'm telling you, the women, I used to get myself in a lot of trouble with I flunked out of CCNY because of that. Then I ended up in BMCC. A lot of other things was going on too at the time, but
The coach
9/11.
there, did you do intramurals there? Like the basketball coach there for the women was Rodney Carr, a good friend of mine.
You talking about BMCC?
MCC.
Well, I actually made the team, but I flunked out because of academics.
What's
I
the
was
coach?
just
The
flunking
big
out.
heavy set. I forget his name. Big heavy set guy was the men's basketball coach.
I believe so. Yeah, I
I
I
forget
tell,
his
tell you the truth, I can't
name.
remember what I did yesterday.
Let me tell you, when BMCC, I was doing my doctorate, and it was a basketball doctorate, and it was a qualitative study. And so I remember going to Rodney and said, I want to follow your team for this entire season as part of my I have to do a pilot study. So I want to so he knew me as being a coach. He said, you can follow us, but we're gonna put you to work. Like we can't just have you traveling, writing notes when you could be, you know, helping us as well.
Yeah,
That was one of the best, another good year in my life, just traveling with them, practicing with them. And after practice, we would go to a sports bar afterwards, the coaches, and watch the Knicks.
right.
I must have ate like 5,000 buffalo wings that season. That was another good year, BMCC with Rodney Carr. Shout out to Rodney.
Yeah. BMCC is when I met my son's mother. So I mean, there you go, right there. That's like another domino or whatever of bad decisions with females that I've done and stuff. But
Well, I hope she's not watching the podcast.
I mean, she could watch what she want, man. I don't, that's a whole. I know you're a psychologist. You wanna crack open the table? I'll lay down. You can,
No, it's not but I'm just saying he just came right on and said that was the first of a bad decision. I'm like, whoa.
yeah, man. Well, I mean, nothing's really a bad decision in life, because it will build you and grow you to who you're gonna become. Because
Right.
at the time, I was the bad decision probably. At the time, I was trying to do the right thing, but still had my foot in two places. So
Mhm,
that was my story
mhm.
at the time. But just as it grows, as you grow as a human being, you develop, and I am who I am now. I'm a nice guy, man. What do you think?
Oh, of course. Of
Yeah.
course. I mean, that was the thing too. From the first time we met,
Mhm.
it was just instant. Like it wasn't uncomfortable. It wasn't like, well, what am I gonna say? And trying to make up conversation. It was just I didn't know you was as tall as you were though. But
I'm not that tall. I'm like what 5'10".
yeah,
I think I'm 5'10". What do you think?
yeah, yeah,
Something
yeah.
like that.
About 5'10". Um, but so yeah, definitely.
Well, the other time we met was obviously at the get together that Sim does at Legends, right by the Empire State Building. We had like the podcast for the open night and stuff. So I think you gave to this day you might be like top 5 best hugs I've ever had in my life, man. You gave a great hug when I first met you in your house, but at the because now you know me now. So when you saw me, I was like, whoa! Like you gave me like the best hug. Top 5, I gotta say, man. Grandma, I think, you know, my son's mother, not my son's mother, my in-laws maybe, and then I think you're in there somewhere. Definitely.
Right, right. Well, appreciate you. Yeah, I'm a big hugger.
Right,
You're right. Some people give those like, that's not me.
right. Well, I was witness to the Queen's Court for the first time at that night because you do the show. We'll get it. Well, I'll talk about that in a second. But the Queen's Court that I saw for real, you left everyone and you went and found a TV. You had a little corner there, and I'm looking at like, is that the Queen's Court? So I had to walk over there, interrupt you over there, and spend time with you while you're watching the game. So
Yeah,
what is that about?
I think I am. You know what? That just happened. I'm noticing that. Like if there's a crowd, you're right. I'll find myself migrating off. And I didn't even realize it.
Right.
I didn't even realize it. I think that's just me. That's just my personality. Like, um, I'm okay being by myself. Like this whole COVID thing, people was really stressed out with. Not me. I doubled down and left Rikers and just went into my private practice. Went into my private practice. I'm like, oh, we got Instacart now. We got like I was good. So I think that's just a part of my personality. And I didn't even notice it.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that I had migrated from the group and found the TV by myself. So I think, yeah, that is you know, uh, a part of my personality as well. I do well by myself.
Well, do you drink at all? I don't find
I
you as a
do.
drinker. You do, but
I
not
do
not
drink.
as heavy as. Good.
Right. Not like if mostly I'll drink is if I'm out socializing, I'll have a drink. Like I have a full bar at my house and it's just there.
Right.
It's just there. But my favorite drink is a whiskey sour. I'm a big bourbon drinker.
Are we friends or what? Diehard has a friend. Are we friends? Because I think I like whiskey sours too. What's going on here?
Whiskey sour.
Yeah.
I actually have a bourbon collection, actually. Just
Okay.
something to do, bored. Like, I'm gonna start collecting bourbon. And
Yeah.
it's just there.
But that's how I am too. Because I mean, once everybody gets riled up and stuff, I like being in the mix too. But sometimes you feel the energy and it kind of just boop, it kind of just
Right,
pops you out the room. So you don't mean to do it, but you find yourself popping out, just so you can get a
right,
breather, almost like you're in a pool. Yeah, let me get
right,
out to the
right,
side and stretch my legs one time.
right,
That's how it
right.
is for me.
Yeah, definitely. But like I said, it wasn't even playing. It wasn't even like, oh, this is real noisy. Let me go over here. I just felt myself migrating over. And
Yeah.
then you came over and we was able to, watch the game.
Yeah. Dope. So where did the Queen's Court come from? Like with just the thought process with it, because just before you get into that, I
Mhm.
wish there was more females doing this.
So do I.
You see them on national TV. They always doing something on national TV, which is great. But
Mhm.
just something like this, I would love to see like just like a raw type of thing. Just the way the way that you do things is very professional stuff. But just in this landscape, like me doing shock. I would love to meet a diehard like female, that's
Right,
cursing and going all crazy.
right.
I know a few in real life, but I would love to see them in doing this, man. That would be fantastic, man.
That would definitely be great. And shout out to the bowling chick who's with me on Tuesdays on Dope Soul Sports Talk. I just saw in her Twitter profile that she was a Knicks fan, and I DM'd her to come on the show, and she came on, and that's all she wrote. And I'll let her tell you about what she's planning on doing. But and she's really good too. So there are women out there who are knowledgeable Knicks fans. I think part of it may just be those that I've spoke to and invited on Queen's Court with like, I don't know if I'm ready for, video, or I don't know if my takes are, really good. And so but they're knowledgeable,
Yeah,
and I try to tell them it's just having a conversation. It's just your opinion. We can agree or disagree. And even people in my best friend, one of my best friends, Dee Chris, who's been, on the show, will talk basketball. Chris has come on. But when I
yeah,
asked Dee, she's like, nah. But the conversations we're having is at the level of what we have on the panel.
right.
It's at that level. But when you ask them to come on, they just kind of shy away
Do,
from
do you think it's the whole? Because you was talking about the audio, like the audio will probably be better for you because like visually you got to get my hair done. I got to do.
it.
Do you
Yeah,
think that's plays a part in it?
it might be. It might be. Because when I'm thinking of audio, I'm like, oh, I could do that in my sleep. I don't have to worry about my hair appointments. I don't got to worry about this. I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to worry about what shirt I'm wearing. All I got to do, I can write my notes. I don't have to worry about looking at the camera like Ron. Shout out to Ron, still Nick fan. Like he's a professional, like the
Yeah,
camera. Like when he's talking, it's like boom, right into the.
yeah.
So like sometimes I'll try to do that. And then I'm looking over here and I'm looking over there. Like it's too much to think about. Audio, write your little notes, you sit there, you look at it, I could do that all day. So I think the video is may psych people out.
Yeah, same thing with me with the audio. What attracted me to it is just the fact that you can have like an intimate type of thing, and then
Right,
like I could be in the toilet. You don't know I'm on the toilet because
right,
you can't see me. I'd be anywhere in the world. I used to be at work, for what I do. I
mhm,
would be in the field doing what I do, doing the podcast and stuff.
right, right.
Yeah,
And I like to travel. I'm getting back to traveling with COVID. Um, you know, ending or changing, however you want to frame it. And I'm like, audio would be great.
Yeah.
Could be anywhere in the world. You uploading audio is much easier, quicker, and faster than uploading
Right.
a video.
Well, I think you have a gift, So I want to encourage you to do stuff. But before I did, I got the joke with Ron. Ron, I can't watch still Knicks fans, not because of the content, because I feel like Ron is trying to seduce me. I really think he is.
He looks right at, I'm
Yeah,
like, where's his camera? Like, where's his camera angle? Like, he's looking right.
yeah, like right into your soul. I feel like, man, is he trying to take me out or something? Wait a second, he doesn't know I'm sitting here, does he? Does he know I'm looking? I don't know.
Right, 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 right.
Yeah, so I mean, you have a gift. Like you're talking about the audio stuff. So I mean, you do something that's very unique. Also, man, you travel. You're a traveler. But you don't just travel. You travel. I mean, like you travel. Like when you pick a destination, it's always like something unique and experience.
Right.
So explain the traveling. How does that incorporate into your life?
You know what? Is actually I got to traveling late. I didn't get my first passport till I was 50. Yes, I'm giving away my age now. I'm 55. But I didn't get my first passport till I was 50.
Right.
And the first place I went was Alaska. I did an Alaska cruise. And I love like big mountains. I love the beach. And when I go to the beach, I like where the water hits the sky, excuse me, meets the water.
Yes.
Like it's like infinity. I love that. And I'll try to situate myself on the beach where that's all I'm looking at. Like those sorts of things like really calm me, is almost meditative. I always wanted to go to Alaska because I just saw the pictures of it and they were beautiful. So I said, I just went, did an Alaska cruise, the glaciers or whatever. I had that same feeling I have when I'm on the beach, like that big nature. And then I just got the bug. Next thing you know, something came across. It was an email to travel with a group to South Africa for 2 weeks. And they would match you up with somebody. I signed up like a week before. I almost pulled out because I'm like, who they gonna put me with? Like I'm very particular. They put me with somebody who's gonna be mad annoying, talking all the time, But it was great. She was around my age. We was both, photography, whatever. We went to Cape Town, Johannesburg, Zimbabwe, Botswana. We did the safari on the boat because at night the animals will come out for water. So we
Right.
did it on a boat so we could see them. But we also did like 2 or 3 of them in the Jeeps or whatever. It was an amazing experience. And then COVID. And then COVID hit. And even during COVID, I still went to Ghana to meet a friend of mine. He's a teacher. He was a teacher in Newark. And when he retired, he built him a house in Ghana.
Yeah.
So I went there, and I'm actually going back in November. So I'll have pics for there as well. And my trip to France got pushed back 2 years in a row because of COVID. So maybe in 2023, I'll get a chance to go. And I'm trying to figure out how to incorporate that experience with my content creation and with the Knicks. Like I'm thinking about when I do my intro videos, maybe I could change out my Knick pics to pictures of my trip.
Yeah.
And that just gives people an opportunity instead of like during the show itself, you showing pictures like nobody like just put it in the beginning, a few pictures because some people have asked,
Right.
put it in there and what have you. Maybe if I could find a Knick fan in Ghana when I come, that would be dope to be able to, do a podcast with someone. But yeah.
Well, you also have the Dope Soul, show. So
Mhm.
what is I know I can put it, but let me just put it up. I'm here talking about it,
Mhm.
so just put it up on the screen. So the Dope Soul podcast, you have it up here. Dope Soul, Real Talk. I forgot. There's something else that you had. Yeah, but that
I
I
used to
pulled,
have
I pulled
Dope
it up.
Soul Sports Talk,
Right.
but then I changed it to Real Talk. I'm trying to, my vision would be Knicks, sport and society type
Yes.
stuff. Like I do want to do a show on mental health and sports and what have you. And the life part would be just my travels and just trying to figure out how I can incorporate Nick content in my travels. Like maybe I can find somebody that's a Nick fan wherever I go and kind of do a video or whatever. But that's actually I'm still formulating that.
Yeah,
Um,
it's big
but
brainstorm.
yeah, I'm still brainstorming that. But basically, really wanting it to be Knicks related, sports related, life related, especially sport and society. There's a lot of things going on in the periphery of sports that during the off season you have the time to really talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I broke my toe. I broke my pinky toe. I almost ripped it straight off my foot.
Wow.
So when things like that happen, like especially during the summertime, I was already on vacation. So
Hmm.
now I got extra time. So that's what came up with this. This Diehard as a friend. Diehard as a friend was is basically my thesis statement for this whole thing. I want to find more people like me.
Hmm.
So I definitely have found people like myself. So right now I'm brainstorming. Same thing. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do next because I love it. I love
Right.
it. You
Correct.
know.
Correct. So one of the reasons for creating the channel was collaboration, like
Right.
really wanting to collaborate with different content creators. So the bowling chick and I, because I said one of the things I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna do Queen's Court, and I'm gonna do pregame, with Sam. Post game, they stay up too late. You get to a certain age, you got to get to bed on time. So I said, that's too late for me, even though lately my sleep is off. I hope that's not aging. When they say when you get old, it's hard
Yeah,
to
like
fall
you
asleep.
stop sleeping when you get older,
Oh
man. So
my
yeah.
God. I'm now it's like 12 o'clock. I'm still up. But so I think I'm gonna do like I would say I'm gonna do my post games the next morning. But then like every 20 games, I want to do like a quarterly review of the Knicks and just trying to find somebody who every 20 games we're doing this. And then the bowling chick said that she would be interested. And I said, boom, there you go. Like I love collaborating. Like Freezy hit me up about Friday. I don't know if it's gonna be every Friday. And I love it, but at some point I'm still trying to grow my private practice. So
Yes.
I have to find a balance because you could put in hours, but because you love it, it's not until the end of the week you be like, yo, that was like 14 hours. Like my first year, pre-game, post-game, morning shoot around, Queen's Court, that was like easily 15 hours a week. Easy. I
Yeah.
was like, yo.
It's a part-time job.
Yeah, I was
You can
like,
get
that's
part-time
a lot.
benefits if they gave
Right,
benefits for this stuff, right?
right. I was like, that's a bit much. So I got to figure out my time management because to keep my life balanced.
Absolutely. Well, I want to throw something else at you. Like you can probably do like in your travels. I know you're talking about actually like filming yourself, but you can just film your experiences and just have your voice speaking over it. That would be fantastic. I would subscribe to that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But then that would be like another channel because I've thought about that too. I've thought about doing I wouldn't say a mental health channel, but more like a quality of life channel. Like one of my things is really being intentional about how you want to live your life. Like one of the questions I continually ask myself is, how do I want the rest of my life to look? How do
Right.
I want the rest of my life to look? And being very intentional about it, I'll ask myself, how do I want my day to look? How do I want my week to look? What type of people I want in my life? You know what I mean? What type of
Yeah.
like I'm very intentional about those things. And sometimes I think about, doing a channel, like a quality of life channel, because I feel like a lot of people are just not focused. Like I like spending so much energy on whoever this other person, like these other things that have
That was my
nothing to
first 10 years of my adult life was
right,
like that.
right, mine too, like losing time. So
Yeah.
I got this thing called a box, and I'm very clear who's important, what's important, what I like, what I don't like, and I call that the box. All
Right.
of that stuff is in my box. If you're not in my box, I can't. I can't spend a lot of time.
I got you.
I get thrown off as well, and I might, but because I've done that exercise, I know I got to bring myself back to center. Like that's not, I'm spending too much time on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm
Yeah.
I'm kind of the same way. I don't really call it a box per se,
Mhm.
but everybody should have that. Like you're saying, like have
Right.
that intent. Intent is so important, man.
Yeah.
I want to tag that 'cause you mentioned Freezy also, but he was on the show with us. He mentioned integrity. Initially,
Right.
he thought that I was like clowning him for using a word and stuff,
Mhm.
but integrity, that word is so powerful. The people don't have integrity anymore.
Right.
It's very hard to find people that have that.
Right.
Once you find that person, you're gravitated to them because
Right.
like it's like, wow, there you are. I've been looking for someone like you for like the longest, man. Just not
Right.
not necessarily to be relationship type of thing, but just like to
Right.
be a companion in life, the integrity, and
Listen,
intent is so important as well and they kind of go hand in hand.
right. I think when you get into, for me anyway, I don't know if it's for everybody. I'm at a point in my life where I'm about living beyond boundaries.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about, oh, you two, what's your age? You shouldn't be doing this content creation thing because of your age. You hanging out with those guys, they guys you are like, I'm over it. I'm
Right.
just beyond boundaries. If I want to do it, I'm gonna do it. I don't care if everybody else that's doing it is 35. This is something I want to do. I'm gonna live free. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I don't think I'm gonna go because I'm gonna be the only female. I know how to handle myself. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm just really trying to live beyond boundaries and just do what I love to do. Cause I'm not trying to be morbid, but at any moment, it's a wrap. It could be a wrap.
Yeah. COVID, if anything, people should have learned their lesson with COVID.
Correct.
I live in a neighborhood. There's a lot of schools in my area, man. You should see the people flying through these blocks like kids ain't around. Like kids and elderly people are not walking in the streets. Like what is the matter with people? So I mean, after going through something so tragic, every so many years that happens. So we had 9/11. That was a big thing.
Right.
Now COVID happened. So every so often something like that happens, but people never learn their lesson.
Right.
They go right back to being in the same rut that they were in before, still being negative and this, that, and the other. But like you said, having intent and just being clear of how you want your energy to be spent, or just anything like that, having
Right.
to do with that type
Right.
of talk,
Right.
you have to really guard that, because there's people out there that are lost.
Yeah. And it's easy to get thrown off. I get thrown off sometimes, but I know where my center is, so I find my way back.
Yeah, me too. I get thrown off all the time, man. I had to stay off Twitter because I don't know already.
Me too. Because I run hot. Eru, I would be you if I allowed myself to go there. I just don't allow myself. I feel like trying to find that balance, because I'm a high energy person, even though it doesn't look that way.
Yes.
I could get real reactive and demonstrative and what have you. So, like in this space, I'm just trying to find my balance between obviously not being like, like that, but not
Right.
being all over the place either. So I'm really trying to find my balance. I think I found a nice balance. But I think I would be, because some of this shit, I feel like cursing too.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta let it go. Sometimes you gotta spit it out.
But then afterwards, I'll be like, nah, I think he was a bit too extra today. You got to bring that down. But there are times when I do feel like that. So I caught you was it last month? Oh man, what was it? What I'm trying to figure out, what was the topic. It was the ESPN. That's what prompted the show.
Right.
About them getting on the Knicks, about them not letting them into the Jalen Brunson intro.
Right.
And I've seen you in form, but like that day,
yeah, I was on something that day. Yeah.
But I like that. I like it. I like people who bring it straight, because that's how I am. Even when I'm not demonstrative, people like, can I talk to you about something? And they want to go I'll be like, listen, just give it to me straight. Like I can't do all of that. So I appreciate you. And that's the thing with this space. You got to be who you are.
Right.
You can't try to be anybody else. I've been called Negative Nancy. What was the other one? Debbie Downer or whatever it is. But I got to be me. And you got to be you. And I have no problems with the cursing or anything like that. I like it raw like that, because that's you. Now, if I tried to do it or somebody else tried to do it, it may not even come out right.
Right. But there's a time and place for anything. Because right now, I mean, this whole time, I don't think I said a curse word the whole time. So I mean, there's a time and place for things. But when it's the time, it's the time. You know what I'm saying? So I don't, I love, just to express yourself, to get it out, whatever. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, like we was on a show, I think it was on Freezy's show, and Paris Duggar. Shout out to you, Paris Duggar, always supporting.
Paris Duggar's the man.
Yeah, sent a super chat that said, I wouldn't, who would, you don't give up a Grimes in a trade for Donovan Mitchell. And I think I almost had a seizure. I said, are we serious right now? Like, are we serious? You don't give up. I said, well, maybe he made it wrong. Maybe it's like you don't give up, or you don't hold him out of the trade. He doubled down on it, and then he was like, "Oh, y'all got to read into it. I only get but so many characters." I was like, I almost flipped and lost my mind.
That is funny. That is funny. Oh my God. Well, I mean, speaking of seizure, that's a nice little segue because I don't know if you see it here. What did you were there for this, right? So I mean, you were witness to the bloodbath here. So I mean,
But
you see
listen,
me.
you
Yeah.
got game though, Eru. I think it was just that you got tired because you was up like what, 7-2 or 5 to or something. I said, look at Eru with the nice little stroke.
Yeah, listen, I used to be able to play. I used to play basketball a lot. COVID, I was actually training for the New York City Marathon when COVID hit. So they canceled the marathon, so I wasn't able to run it. So I was in shape in 2018 enough to run the marathon. You know what I'm saying? So I get to that point where I was getting close. Well, I was getting close to being my running weight. I wanted to get down to 175. At the time when COVID, like around when COVID hit, I was like 195. So I was kind of like slimming down, really getting into my stride running and stuff. So running out 175 is nothing. That's my running weight. So I mean, I went from 175. Now look at this. Fast forward 2022. I'm like 245 in this picture right here. In this was a video. I don't know if I want to play the video, but this is just a memory for you just to talk about here. But
yeah, but this is the thing about here. So this was, for those who don't know, the NBK draft party, the second annual. This was this past June, right?
Yes.
Oh, I thought this was a still shot. This is
a video.
It's a video. So when I came in the gym, they were there already. I thought I missed it. Everybody was sweating. I said, "Oh, did I miss the game?"
It was so hot in there, Steph.
It was hot. It was hot.
I haven't played ball in forever. I didn't train for this. It's not like I play ball at all. It's just that Tony wanted to play, so and everybody was being all shy about it. So I'll play. I'll drop dead. Because I haven't been playing. I haven't been doing anything. Look at the move there. I barely got off the ground. You know what I'm saying? Traveling like crazy. Yeah, but just for content purposes and just for entertainment and just to have a great time. And plus, I don't care. I don't care what people think of me. Whatever. I don't care. About the joke stuff, because to me, that's all. Good positive energy for me. You get the good laugh or whatever. That's all great. So I had to do it just just for Tone, because he wanted to play. So like, I'll do it.
Right.
Damn.
Tone.
Yeah, I'm glad.
That was fun. But now you can tell. Look at you with the jab step.
Well, I mean, you see what I did there? I was trying in my head, right? When I was thinking, when I did the pound dribble, in my head, I thought I went backwards, but it kind of like my body hit the brakes, so I hit the ball and I couldn't move. Yeah, so no, I used to have a lot of game. I used to play basketball. I used to play it all day long.
It shows. But we could have took time out.
I needed more than a timeout.
I mean, in hindsight, right? We could have took.
I needed more than a timeout, Steph. Be truthful. I needed more than a timeout with this.
Yeah, man. That was fun too. Me and what's his name? Trav.
Yeah.
Was over by the mic.
Yeah, Trav is dope too. That's another guy that's he's on Twitter and they attack him every day. I don't understand how he sticks. He's like a shark's pit. He's just swimming around, in the shark's den.
Yeah, sometimes I have to leave. I have to stay off of Twitter for a few days.
Yeah, sometimes it can be too toxic.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, enough of that stuff. Okay, enough of that. I mean, like, I don't need to keep reliving that situation. And we gotta move on.
Maybe next time we'll do 3-on-3. If we do 3-on-3, I'll play, because you get less ground to cover, right? If it's 3-on-3, when it's 1-on-1, no rest.
Well, I broke my toe now, so I've had a eureka moment, a moment of clarity. So I broke my toe. So listen, I cannot go through this again. It's been too long now, since 2018. Actually, I had pneumonia. I don't know if you know the story. It's almost passed. Well, I said that on your show too.
I thought you meant recently.
No. 2000. Well, it was 2018. 2019 was COVID. Right. Going into 2020. So it was basically 2019 into 20. That's when I was going to run a marathon. Right. But 2018 I had the pneumonia and stuff. So 2018 to 2022. I'm like 4 years is enough. It's time to, it's time to end the cycle now. So, I'm definitely going to be on the path to, getting back to where I used to be, so.
Yeah. He said that looked like the Knicks 3 years ago.
Word up, yeah. Well, listen, this is Steph here. I see Steph laughing at the guys in the chat here, but we're actually gonna go on with Jarrell here in a little while on his channel, Diehard Giants Live.
Shout out to Jarrell. And listen, like people don't understand how important having people that's willing to come on your show. It really helps. Like I hope to get to the point like you. Who else does it? The entertainer does it. Ron does it. You just pop on and say what you got to say. Like that's my next step, just to come on by myself and talk.
Yeah.
But when I started my channel, I asked Jarrell if he wanted to come on. He came on and he's been on ever since. I appreciate him. The same thing with Stafford, the same thing with the bowling chick. When I asked you to come on, like that gets you, it helps a lot. Yeah. It helps a lot when people come on the show. Because the first 2 months of Queen's Court, because we was having only females, I had to do that show for like maybe every week for like 2 months or 3 months by myself. Yeah. I'm scripting the entire show because I'm nervous. Yeah, I've never done this before. Like I'm scripting the entire, like now I can do bullet points. I'll feel comfortable. But at that time, it was just a lot of work, hours and hours and hours of work to create a script for like an hour show. So shout out to Jarrell and everyone who comes on the panels. I really appreciate you guys. And shout out to Josh who's in the chat as well.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to everybody, man. There's a lot of regulars here from the Diehard Knicks podcast that like to tune in. Yeah, definitely, man. So I mean, this is Steph, man. Steph is a real one, as you see. She's one of us, absolutely. Is she a diehard? Absolutely. Are we friends? Absolutely. So I'm glad to be a part of this whole thing. I'm glad to know you. And hope we can continue to have more moments and stuff that we can sit and talk about.
Yeah, definitely. No doubt about it. And hopefully we'll get a chance to collaborate and do a show down the line.
That's what's up.
What's up?
Man. All right, Steph, man. So I'm gonna talk to you in another hour. We're gonna go to hang out with Jarrell and help his channel out with his first episode, which is gonna be great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. You see his graphic?
Jarrell is the man. He's like the Barry White of this podcast and stuff, man. He's super smooth.
He convinced me to get a Mac because the program that he's using, I forgot the name of it. It's similar to OBS, but it's easier to set up, but it's only available on Mac. Jarrell, I ordered my Mac yesterday. It's coming. So now I can learn that program. And so that way, my stuff don't even look like this. This is just StreamYard. Like, I don't even know what you have going around the bottom. I didn't even know you could put a colored banner. Like mine's just black and white.
Yeah, you could do a lot of stuff with it. I mean, you just got to have time and then once you have that, like you could do that, and then you just like then you like, when am I going to sleep? I'm up all night now doing this.
Right, yeah. Because this looks really nice.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, that looks really nice.
Nice and pixelated and stuff. They can see the sweat glistening and stuff on our foreheads and all this stuff.
Right.
Yeah, very nice.
Books of Butch is asking, can you pin the link in the chat? I'm not sure. The link for
my man what's the name? Jarrell, he could take care of that. Jarrell, post the link in the freaking chat, man. What's the matter with you?
Oh, his YouTube. Oh, okay, yeah. He's in the chat. So Jarrell, and hopefully everybody in the chat is already subscribed to Dope Soul Sports Talk. If you haven't, just Google it on YouTube, go in and subscribe. And shout out to Guard Up Knicks.
Yeah, shout out to those guys.
You guys. I really do miss you guys. Yeah, we got to get together as well.
Well, me. I mean, there's a lot of communities out there. I have the same feelings, for you that I have for them too.
Yeah,
we're gonna try to do something to help create more traffic towards them, because I think they're fantastic too.
Yeah, I love their chemistry. I've always said that, and I was able to meet them at Legends as well.
Yeah.
For the game, I wonder if they're coming to this game, because they were at the first game, the NBK opening night game. I want to believe that was when we met. So hopefully they'll be at this one.
Yeah, hopefully so. Apollo's from not from, he's living in North Carolina, so it's like
they just happened to be in does one of them live in New York because they just happened to be there that time?
Well, two of them do. Like his brother and his cousin, they both live here. But everybody's working. That's the thing too. A lot we're not making our money from the podcast. We're making it outside. So you have to make time for these type of things, man.
Yeah, that's true too. That's true.
So Steph, just like I tell everybody else that comes on this thing, nobody wants to leave. You know, we can
Right,
sit,
yeah,
like
yeah,
me and you
yeah,
can
yeah,
get
yeah.
another topic and just start flipping for another
Right,
two,
right,
3 hours. You know
right,
how that goes, right?
right. Yeah, but we
Yeah,
gotta go. We
yeah, we
gotta be
definitely gotta
ready.
go. Got to get ready for the Giants. I gotta do my research because I have
Yeah,
not
me
done
too.
research. Yeah, so we're gonna make it happen, man. So anyway, thank you, Miss Steph, man. I appreciate you. You know
Well,
everything that you do. Appreciate you that you're here doing your stuff, and I just, like I said, I already said it already. I hope that we can continue growing together like this.
yeah, for sure. We will. We'll figure something out as far as collaborating.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So shout out to the chat, shout out to everybody here, and we see you guys later. Go to Diehard Giants Live. Going live
Yes.
in about 50 minutes.
Right,
Talk
right,
to you
right.
guys later. Peace.